Today is the disappearance of KaliyaKrishnaDasa. So we'll sing Saparshada Bhagavad Viraha Janita Vilapa, or Lamentation, translation, Lamentation due to separation from the Lord and His devotees. Just say Anila? Okay. Easy. Ye Anila Premadana Karuna Pracho Hena Prabhu Kotagela Acharya Thakur Kahamara Bhatta Yuga, excuse me, Kahamara Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kahadasa Raghunata Patitha Pavan Kahamara Bhatta Yuga Kaha Kaviraj Eka kale kota kela gora nataraj Ashane kotiba mata annale pashiba Goranga gunera nidhi kote gale babo Se sabba sangira sange ye kalo vilas Se sangana paya kande narathamada Ye anila prema dana karuna pracho Hena Prabhu Kotagela Chaya Thakur Check. Okay, so read the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against a rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Thank you. So today is the disappearance of KaliyaKrishnaDasa. So we'll just read about him. Very short biography here. So it says, one will surely attain Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda simply by remembering KaliyaKrishnaDasa. It's from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Completely devoted to Lord Nityananda, KaliyaKrishnaDasa knew nothing but the lotus feet of Nitai. He left his body while doing bhajan in Vrindavan. In Vrajalila, he is Labanga, a cowherd boyfriend of Krishna Balaram. Very short biography. Think it's the shortest in the book? Probably. Yeah, it's really short. So, all right. KaliyaKrishnaDasa ki jai. He's completely devoted to Lord Nityananda, so knew nothing but his lotus feet, Nitai. Left his body in Vrindavan. You could remember that biography, right? All right, so now we'll read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, so this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance at the sacrificial arena. We're in text 33. Tattvam kurumayadishtam pramata prajapate madadesha karoloka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam tattvam kurumayadishtam pramata prajapate mad adesha karoloka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam tattvam kurumayadishtam pramata prajapate mad adesha karoloka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam.
Tattvam kurumayadishtam apramata prajapate madadesha karoloka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam. Tattvam kurumayadishtam apramata prajapate madadesha karoloka sarvatrapnoti shobhanam. Tattvam kurumaya dishtam Apramatta Prajapati Radesha Roka Sarvatrapno Shobhanam Tattvam kurumaya dishtam Apramatta Prajapati Radesha Roka Sarvatrapno Shobhanam Tattvam kurumaya dishtam Apramata Prajapati Madadesha Karoka Sarvatrapnoti Shobhanam Tattvam kurumaya dishtam Apramata Prajapati Madadesha Karoka Sarvatrapnoti Shobhanam.
All right, word by word. Tat, therefore. Tvam, you. Kuru, do. Maya, by me. Adishtam, what is ordered. Apramataha, without being misguided. Prajapate, O master of the citizens. Mat, of me. Adesha Karaha, who executes the order. Lokaha, any person. Savatra, everywhere. Apnoti, achieves. Shobhanam, all good fortune. Translation. My dear king, O protector of the citizens, henceforward be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world. Purport. The sum and substance of religious life is to execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one who does so is perfectly religious. In Bhagavad Gita 1865, the Supreme Lord Krishna says, Manmana bhavatsaptaha, just think of me always and become my devotee. Furthermore, the Lord says, Sarvadharman prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all kinds of material engagement and simply surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66. This is the primary principle of religion. Anyone who directly executes such an order from the personality of God is actually a religious person. Others are described as pretenders, for there are many activities going on throughout the world in the name of religion, which are not actually religious. For one who executes the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, there is only good fortune throughout the world. Only Ganatibidandasya, Gananjana Shalakaya, Chukshuman Meditamena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Pakam Karidvachalam, Pangam Langa Etekirim, Yakripa Tamaham Vande, Shri Gurun Ditadanam, Vancha Kavadvishta, Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam, Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhanitananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My dear king, translation again. My dear king, O protector of the citizens, henceforward be very careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. Anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, will always find good fortune all over the world. So this is Lord Vishnu's speaking, a benediction to Prithu Maharaj, protector of the citizens, he's advising him, follow my, be careful to execute my orders and not be misled by anything. And he's saying anyone who lives in that way, simply carrying out my orders faithfully, always find good fortune all over the world. So it's not that Lord Vishnu or Krishna, it's not that they promise that, oh, you become a devotee and you'll have no difficulty in your life. And of course, there's so many cases where we see that devotees do have external difficulties. Like Prahlad Maharaj had difficulties with his father and his, what do you call his father's men? Henchmen, yeah, henchmen. And you have the Pandavas, and you have so many devotees who had went through difficulties externally. So it's not that we become devotees and there's no external difficulties. But the difference is that if one becomes a devotee, then they're able to deal with those difficulties in a Krishna conscious way, in a positive way in which they're actually able to overcome them. So when it says good fortune here, that you'll obtain good fortune, it's not like referring to, oh, you'll if you follow my instructions, then you'll attain good fortune, and not how people think of good fortune nowadays means like, you get lots of money or something. Or as we say, like prosperity religion, engaging in religion for material purposes. Like I told this devotee, it was his birthday. It was actually Suresh. I told Suresh it was his birthday the other day. And I said, may you have a very long Krishna conscious life. And he was smiling. Suresh smiles a lot, laughs a lot. And then I also said, I was joking, I said, may you have lots of money. Long Krishna conscious life with lots of money. And then he starts smiling and laughing and shaking his head. He says, no, I don't want lots of money. And I say, okay, fine. May you have a long Krishna conscious life with no money. And he's smiling and shaking his head. No, I don't want that either. So he doesn't want lots of money, he doesn't want no money, so just maybe somewhere in the middle. So yeah, real blessing doesn't mean anything material. It means spiritual blessings. Just like singing about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that, I think one Brahmin, he was upset because he wasn't able to partake in the chanting and Shiva Sangam, the ecstatic kirtans, and he saw Lord Chaitanya. Oh, Shiva Sangam. Shiva Sangam, thank you. In Lord Chaitanya's Leela, in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, Lord Chaitanya's life, they started the Sankirtan movement, or started the chanting of the holy names, Kirtan, in Srivas Pandit's house, which he's an associate of Lord Chaitanya. So they would be having these kirtans in there in the nighttime, but only certain persons were qualified to enter. Means they had to be in a very high level of Krishna consciousness, pure devotees. And that also is important because sometimes people, they want to experience the full results of Krishna consciousness, but that's good. We should want to. But there has to be that adhikar, or qualification. It's not that any fool and rascal could enter the spiritual world. They have to be pure. Just like one devotee was bringing up, and we'll get back to Lord Chaitanya in 1 minute, but one devotee was bringing up this point, that this idea of living in Vrindavan, of course, that's there in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada's Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada's Law Book of Devotion, that a principle of devotional service is, if one can, one should reside in Vrindavan, Mathura Vrindavan, one should reside there. And if one cannot reside there, then they should reside mentally within Vrindavan. where Krishna performed his pastimes, where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. So one devotee was bringing up this point that it's so nice to live in Vrindavan, this idea of living in Vrindavan. And another devotee brought up the point. Gaur Govinda Swami said, "Oh yeah, living in Vrindavan." He said, "Kamsa, he also resided in Mathura." So Kamsa was, Krishna's evil uncle, right? Demoniac, evil uncle. So he was bringing up the point that Kamsa also resided there. So, in other words, Kamsa wasn't getting the full benefits of Krishna consciousness, the ecstatic, the ecstasy of loving Krishna favorably. He wasn't experiencing that, like the gopis or like the cowherd boys or like Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj. He wasn't experiencing that. He had a different experience. Namely, he's trying to kill Krishna. That was his whole meditation. Of course, say he got benefit from that, but we don't want to follow in Kamsa's footsteps. So, in other words, we have to have that adhikar, the qualification, to really reside in Vrindavan, means actually or mentally also, or get the full benefits of Krishna consciousness. So similarly, this Brahmin, he was upset that why can't I go into these ecstatic kirtans in the evening with Lord Chaitanya's associates? So when he saw Lord Chaitanya one day by the bank of the Ganga, the river Ganges, he saw him there, and he cursed him, and he said, what did he say?
He said, "You're not going to have any. I curse you not to have any prosperity."
Yeah, I curse you not to have any prosperity or material opulence or to enjoy material life. And Lord Chaitanya was happy. He was, oh, great, wonderful. It's a blessing. It's a cursed blessing. So devotees, they have a completely different, it's like 180 degrees, it's night and day, a completely different outlook on everything in life. So to be a devotee means to have a different outlook than the materialistic people. And therefore materialistic people don't understand devotees, which also means materialistic friends or family or anybody who's material, they just don't understand. Like, sometimes people, they want to join a temple or they want to devote their life to Krishna. People think, oh, this is a complete waste of time. All the devotees are all happy. Oh, great, a soul wants to come to the lotus feet of Krishna, wants to surrender to Krishna, wants to develop their eternal lost love and relationship with Krishna. What a wonderful thing. It's just the most wonderful thing, actually. It's beyond wonderful. Devotees, their hearts are dancing when somebody wants to do that. But, materialistic people think, oh, what is this person doing? They're just going to waste their life, waste their time. What are they going to get out of it? Nothing. So they don't understand. Why? Because it's like night and day. And you have that verse in the Bhagavad Gita, right? What's that verse? Yanisha sarva bhutanam. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. Where is that in the? Yeah. What number is that Bhagavad Gita? Because I have the Bhagavad Gita right here. I could read it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's just like night and day. They can't understand. And generally, the parents, it's like a thing, or the parents or the family, or somebody who's connected to you. In some ways, you're so closely connected, especially the parents. It's like this idea of vicariously enjoying through you. Means that certain desires, certain aspirations, certain successes they may have not reached, or maybe they have reached, but still they want to enjoy through you vicariously. They want to see you succeed how they think, according to their perception of what is success. And according to their perception of success, it is not becoming a devotee. But that doesn't mean that it's not right to become a devotee. It just means that those particular persons have a lack of understanding. So it's like night and day. So to be a devotee means we have a completely different outlook, which is good, and we have a completely different outlook, like what it means to get the blessings of God or of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So did you find that? Oh, okay. Well, let's see. We'll see who could find it first, Jamal or Yanisha. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll read it. 269. Getting close. Okay, here it is. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagati samyami yasyam jagati bhutani sa nisha pashuto manehe. What is night for all beings, so what is night for all beings, is the time of awakening for the self-controlled. And the time of awakening for all beings is the night for the introspective sage. And Prabhupada says there's two classes of intelligent men. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities of the introspective sage or thoughtful man are night for persons materially absorbed. They just can't understand. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such a night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective sage remains alert in the night of the materialistic men. The sage feels transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in material activities, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distressed in his sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reactions. So it's just completely different.
And here we have literally, it's going to be get up among a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just finishing their all-night party. Fresh.
Yeah. They go to sleep at 4 or 5.
When we're about to take rest, they're just starting their party this evening.
Yeah. PB. So if we're fortunate, then we will understand that the goal of life is to become a devotee. And the goal of life is not just to become a devotee, but the goal of life is to become a pure devotee. Which, you could say, being a devotee versus being a pure devotee, there's a vast difference there. And that the pure devotee has no desires except desires that are completely in line with Krishna and one's true nature as Krishna's servant. So it is a journey from complete, mundane, materialistic, asleep life, you're just sleeping in the lap of Maya completely. And then there's waking up gradually and becoming a devotee, and then there's working our way up and becoming pure devotees, which it is a process, but that is the whole idea, to strive to become a pure devotee. And as I think there was one, Tirthamaj used to bring up this, there was, I think it was a very rich man. What's one of the rich everybody talks about? Everybody says his name and talk about rich guys. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, money and the Bill Gates, right? Everybody thinks Bill Gates. Oh, yes. Oh, okay, well, he's richest in the world. So he had a thing, it said, is it? Get rich, maybe it was him, I don't know, whatever, but get rich or die trying. So similarly, we want to say, become a pure devotee or die trying, right? You want to become a pure devotee or die trying. So try. And therefore, and Krishna gives us so many hints, so many instructions in the Bhagavad Gita and srimadbhagavatam, so many books. And the other day you were in Phoenix, and we were wondering about this particular verse from the devotees getting together, and by them associating, they're able to give up sense gratification. So we found that verse, and I think it's in the 11th canto. I think you know it's Parasparam. Yeah, it's such a great verse. It's absolutely amazing verse, actually. Yeah. Here, you want to give him the mic?
Purifying glories of the Lord, Pavanam, purifying
Bhagavad-yasha, the fame of Krishna. And what's the result? Mito ratir, they develop affection for each other. Mutual, mito means mutual, mito ratir, mitos mutual satisfaction, spiritual sasatisfaction. And nivrita mitadatmana, and they nourish each other's detachment from Maya.
Yeah.
The great verse. That's the mission statement of the Hare Krishna movement, of society for Krishna.
What is it? What, you have the translation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
It says, one should learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the Lord. This process is most purifying. As devotees thus develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. And by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering.
Yeah, so there's so many instructions how to become successful. But still, although there's those instructions how to become successful, we have to follow them. And if we don't follow them, then how do we expect to be successful? It just doesn't happen. So sometimes people wonder, oh, well, why aren't I feeling happy, or why aren't I making progress in Krishna consciousness? Well, the basic answer to that is like, okay, well, are you following the instructions? Well, I don't know. Sometimes when I feel like it. On Sundays, I follow the instructions. Well, it takes, throughout our lives, very sincerely, seriously following instructions. And one of those instructions, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto, just think of me, always become my devotee. So Krishna is advising us in the 18th chapter, 65th verse. And Prabhupada says in the purport that it is our responsibility. After all, we have we follow a very responsible philosophy, which means the philosophy really of Krishna consciousness or Krishna himself really expects us to be responsible, to take responsibility for ourselves, to take responsibility for others. What's the whole principle of Guru? The whole principle of Guru means you're taking responsibility for people. So, and Lord Chaitanya says, Yadidekataka Krishna Badesh Marga Tara Idesh, that wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna, and this way become a guru, liberate the land. So, Prabhupada mentions that in the purport. He says, a devotee should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. So it says that a person should do that. It doesn't say that, the Krishna is going to come down and arrange your life so you always think about him. It doesn't say that the spiritual master even is necessarily going to get involved personally every single disciple's life and arrange their schedule so they always think of Krishna. And maybe even you won't even have another devotee do that. But here at least Prabhupada's saying he should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. So we should try to come up with a strategy, a plan, how we can always remember Krishna 24 hours a day. And try to follow it. And Prabhupada goes on further that these words stress that one should concentrate his mind on Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with the beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. These descriptions in the Brahma Samhita, and one should fix his mind on this original form of Krishna. 1865. So, Krishna, he's not going to force us. The spiritual master is not going to force us. And devotees, really aren't going to force us. There's only so much you could really force on somebody. It's like, when you're going to grab them by their shirt, think of Krishna, you can't really. You could wake them up a few times for Mangal Arati. You could, try to force them to chant their rounds in the temple room or whatever it is. But when it really comes down to it, it's the soul's decision. Do they want? Yeah, exactly. A man forced against his will is of the same opinion still. So you may force somebody to think something or do something, but they're still convinced otherwise. And then in the next verse, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender to me, do not fear. Krishna is advising us. And Prabhupada quotes a very important, some very important verses from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Anukul yasya sankalpa, pratikul yasya varjanam. So accepting things that are favorable, rejecting things that are unfavorable. It says, according to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, but if by executing his duty one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. So there's many things that don't lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. And modern or postmodern world is just full of those things. They love those things. They love anything and everything that doesn't lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. So in other words, they're godless, we say demons. They're just godless. They just complete ignorance. Now, but we as aspiring devotees, we have to avoid those things. Why? Because they don't lead to perfection. And so that's important. One should be confident that in all circumstances Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There's no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service and full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There are different processes of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation, mystic yoga, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simple surrender to Krishna will save him from unnecessarily wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reactions. So it's a wonderful purport. And Krishna is saying Ma Suchaha, so there's so much worry and anxiety and all these things. But devotees, we're supposed to have faith in Krishna. Good morning, Hare Krishna. We're supposed to have faith in Krishna. And therefore devotees don't worry about their bodily maintenance. Devotees don't have worry about their... Like one devotee asked Tirtha Maharaj before he accepted sannyas. Anyways, I think about this because he told me, it was kind of like scarred in my mind, but he said that one devotee was talking to him and said, you're going to take sannyas, but who's going to look after you, when you get old or you get sick, or I heard stories about, devotees being neglected and this and that, and who's going to, and then Tirtha Maharaj told him, he said, well, that's why you're not taking sannyas, because you have such thoughts, and he's saying, who's going to, Krishna, Krishna will look after me. Or when Tirtha Maharaj was joining the Brahmacharya ashram, years ago, he told me his mother said, but what happens when you get old? What happens when you get sick? And Tirthaprabhu just said, well, I'm going to die. So this idea is that devotees, they have faith in Krishna that, okay, Krishna's going to take care of me. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. He said that the devotee doesn't worry about their bodily maintenance, who's going to take care of me or anything like this. And Prabhupada says Krishna will see to that. So definitely within the non-devotees world there's so much anxiety, but also within the devotees world, devotees have to learn how to have faith and complete faith in Krishna. That's what's this being mentioned in this Mahasutraha verse. And lastly is that we, in the name of Krishna and the name of Prabhupada, we have to be careful, and also all religious people, they have to be careful that what they're doing is actually true to their religion or true to their spiritual books or to their philosophy. Because so many people, they think, oh, well, God wants me to, whatever, you have a fanatical, whatever, Muslims or something, and they think, oh, well, God wants me to kill these people or something. But, or you have these Christians, right, that, they hold up signs and, God hates everybody. That's pretty much what the sign says. God hates this class, hates that class, He hates homosexuals, He hates everybody. God hates. But, but also within devotees' lives, we also have to be careful that we may not go so far as say, okay, God, wants me to kill these people. That means you're kind of real far out, or, we start holding signs, Krishna hates, certain class. Okay, we may not go so far. But, like Prabhupada said, which he actually did say what I'm saying. So, there was this devotee, Atma Tattva, I think he's a Prabhupada disciple, right? Atma Tattva? Yeah. So he was in London, and he told this Prabhupada pastime that Prabhupada was really sick. He left Vrindavan, came 1977 to London. He was very sick. He could hardly talk and very thin. So anyways, Prabhupada was upstairs in his room, and he didn't come down all morning. And then eventually he came down. Devotees brought him down. And all the devotees were all the London devotees. So then Prabhupada told the devotees, what did I say now? And then devotees, what are you talking about, Prabhupada? Because he didn't even come downstairs. But then Prabhupada said that a few times. Oh, what did I say now? I'm curious, what did I say now? And then Prabhupada explained. He said, I was just curious what I said now, because so many people are saying, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, Prabhupada said this. So I was curious, what did I say now? So we do speak like that. Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, which is good. We're quoting Prabhupada. But we just have to be careful whether Prabhupada really said that, or if we're just, in kind of really far out circumstances, people may use scripture or, Prabhupada's name to justify so many things. Oh, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that, like that. So we have to be careful. So we want to follow the instructions, and we will attain good fortune, and be happy and satisfied, and not use or abuse the name, Prabhupada, Krishna. They're inspiring me to do this or do that or say this or say that. And we want to follow the instructions, be very serious and sincere in trying to execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and encourage others to do so as well. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
A couple of comments on what you read. The first one is back in the day, in the 73, 74, 75, in the Henry Street Temple where I joined, I remember, this is in context with how you mentioned that, we have to, it has to be a daily thing, try to strive to always serve Krishna. So they put up some signs. You would see it, on the ashram, different place. It was just a simple sign. No gaps. No gaps.
No gaps.
Yeah, the idea was that no gaps. No gaps. Yeah, because the tendency is, especially in the neophyte stage, to be enthusiastic for some time and then to let down and let Maya creep back in. So it's really a sign that it was quite a enthusiastic temple, that you could even feel that we're really striving to do it all throughout our waking hours. And if you do it throughout your waking hours, you probably dream of Krishna also, But that was a nice sign. It's a nice little way of remembering that no gaps, because Krishna is satatam, always nitya, and throughout the Gita, and that's what we're supposed to strive for.
Said our philosophy is no gap philosophy.
Did he say that? Well, that may be where that came from. So that's a good thing to remember. And the other one was that this Prabhupada said. I mean, I'm dealing my whole 45 years with what Prabhupada said, and so you find sometimes you have to understand the context and who he was saying it to.
Yeah.
Just like these letters Prabhupada wrote, you can go through the letters and pick out letters and come up with, even not even the letters. I mean, in the Adi Leela, in one passage, I forget where it is, Prabhupada says, and that's why we allow, I don't know if he even used the word polygamy, marriage to more than one lady, because there's always more ladies, and some guys want to be brahmacharis, so all the ladies should be married, but some half the men should be brahmachari. So that's still in the books, but it was.
Letters should not be published.
I know, it's too late for that. It's too late. They're out. And so what about that? Well, there was a point where one of Prabhupada's GBC wrote to him. Prabhupada said that's illegal in America.
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal, and it is illegal. You can't just have 3, 4 wives, And so I said, okay. So he wrote, therefore forget about it, And also those who had tried it before that, didn't work out. I mean, mostly it's the women who freak out, and make it and destroy the marriage. Anyway, so that's an interesting thing in the context. Who did he speak to? Mm-hmm. And in my own service, of a lot of it is reviewing Prabhupada's books and making little adjustments. We find on one end there are statements. Prabhupada said this twice. There's something called Arsha Prayog, which means that therefore, I can give you the whole quote. Therefore, when the Acharya, there's some error in what he writes, then it's left as a matter of respect, And then on the other side, he told Pradyumna, one mistake destroys the whole book, murders the whole book. And he said in 1977 in June in Vrindavan that all the books should be gone through and any mistake should be fixed before the reprint. So what do? On one side is the Arsha Prayog, even if it's a mistake, don't fix it. And the other side, one mistake murders the book. So you have to know how to apply these to sometimes contradictory instructions. Mm-hmm. So it's not as simple as it may sound. Haribol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say understanding the text in context. When it was, it's interesting. I never heard that Prabhupada said he didn't want his letters to be published. That's interesting. It's in one of the letters, huh? Did he go into explanation in that letter of why he didn't? Oh, really? Wow. I want to find that letter because that's an important. That's an. All right. That's interesting. Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah. I was thinking like Sura. I think Sura said this. What is that? Kamo. Is that verse?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could explain that.
Yeah, this is kind of a joke. The book was never printed this way, but he was illustrating
You want to tell it on the mic?
He's illustrating, these mics are ridiculous. He's illustrating a point that we as editors make all the time, that one comma can make all the difference in the world. In the karma world, one comma, people have sued on the basis of that and made $1 million settlements just because of a comma.
Oh, wow.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, in that same chapter, no, it's in chapter 7, I'm sorry. Krishna says, Dharma avaruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Kama here means sex life. And he's saying, I am that sex life that is not contradictory to religious principles. Dharma avaruddha. Avaruddha means contradictory. Avaruddha means not contradicting Dharma. So the translation is, I am that sex life. I am sex life which does not contradict. So then if you put the comma after sex life, and by sex life probably meant sex, I am sex, comma, which does not contradict religious principles. So you put that comma in there, and Krishna is saying, I am any old kind of sex, and any of that kind of sex does not, whatever you do, doesn't contradict religious principles. I don't know if I can explain it to you later, but that's what that comma means.
Yeah.
It's non-restrictive.
Yeah.
It means it's just describing, I am sex, period. By the way, that sex doesn't contradict.
Yes.
Or you can say, I am only that sex, which is not contrary to religious principle. Prabhupada gave us what it meant, just certain mantras once a month, only for having children. So
yeah, you got to be careful with those commas.
Commas are very important.
Got to be careful with comma. Yeah, and also devotees. I mean, they like Krishna says in the Bhagavad, I am the healing herb, right? So devotees who have inclination to ganja or marijuana say, hey, Krishna says I'm the healing herb. Anyways, with all types of things like that. So, yeah. So, but Krishna's not referring to that when he's saying that. So, all right, Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.